Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the distance learning program. It's great to be here today, and I just wanted to say that I miss you guys, and I've been thinking about maybe getting everybody together to see if we could maybe have a picnic. I was wondering the other day, why don't we think about getting together over at the park, and it would be outside, so it would be pretty safe, I would think. And if you'd like to do that, why don't you just email me or text me whenever you get a chance and let me know what you think about the idea. Another thing that I was wanting to share with you is I received an email from Gladys. Do y'all remember Gladys? She's the student from Venezuela, and she moved out to San Diego. She emailed me, and I thought I'd share it with you. She says, "Dear Professor Mike, I've been slow to write to you, but I have not forgotten you and your wife. I miss you and your classes. I have found here very good companions, very supportive class, as well as teachers very dedicated to teaching and very friendly. It is a nice experience where I have met people from many countries that I had never imagined meeting them. How are you and your family, my classmates? I wish you much happiness, health, and always continue with this dedication in teaching. A big hug to you, your wife, and my classmates." You know, I think it's great when students stay in touch, even if they move to a different state and we don't see them anymore. It's always nice to hear back from students that we've had in the past. So if you ever leave, please don't hesitate to give me a call or text me sometime to let me know how you're doing. Okay, we're going to start this lesson with the Oxford Picture Dictionary, and we'll start on page 76. Page 76, food preparation and safety. So if you could turn to page 76 in the Oxford Picture Dictionary, I'm going to start by reading the phrases and the words, and you can repeat them after me. Food preparation and safety. Food safety. Clean. Separate. Cook. Chill. Clean counters. Wash your hands. And that's 20 seconds. That's just a little less than half a minute. Use separate cutting boards for vegetables and meat. Separate cutting boards means not the same cutting board for vegetables and meat. Cook to the right temperature. Refrigerate leftovers quickly. Ways to serve meat and poultry. Fried chicken. Barbecued or grilled ribs. Broiled steak. Roasted turkey. Boiled ham. Stir-fried beef. Ways to serve eggs. Scrambled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs. Poached eggs. Eggs sunny side up. Eggs over easy. Omelet. Some of you might wonder, what's the difference between hard-boiled eggs and poached eggs? I believe that hard-boiled eggs are boiled in boiling water with the shell still on the outside of the eggs. But poached eggs, that's when water's boiling and you crack the egg and drop it into the boiling water and it cooks without the shell. Role play. Make new conversations. How do you like your eggs? I like them scrambled, and you? I like them hard-boiled. Ask your classmates, share the answers. Do you use separate cutting boards? What is your favorite way to serve meat? Poultry. And remember, poultry is chicken. What are healthy ways of preparing meat? Poultry. Next page. Food preparation and safety. Cheesy tofu vegetable casserole. Preheat the oven. Grease a baking pan. Slice the tofu. Steam the broccoli. Saute the mushrooms. Spoon sauce on top. Grate the cheese. Bake. And that's 350 degrees. Easy chicken soup. Cut up the chicken. Dice the celery. Peel the carrots. Chop the onions. Boil the chicken. Add the vegetables. Stir. Simmer. Quick and easy cake. Break 2 eggs into a microwave-safe bowl. Mix the ingredients. Beat the mixture. Microwave for 5 minutes. All right, now that we've finished the pronunciation part of the class, I'm going to go to the Ventures3 book, the green book, and we're going to turn to page 90, and we're going to read the article, A Credit Card Nightmare, on page 90 of the green book, the Ventures3 book. So the first thing you might wonder about is, what is a credit card? Most of you are familiar with credit cards. They're usually cards that you get from a bank that let you buy things on credit, or you don't have to pay for them with cash. You can use your card to buy the product and then pay for it later when the bill is sent to you. So it's a way to buy merchandise or products without having to pay cash. The problem with credit cards is that if you have too many credit cards and you build up a lot of debt by continually using the credit cards and not paying the balance at the end of each month, then the debt can soon become overwhelming, and it can grow and grow until it's not possible to pay the monthly payments. And when it says a credit card nightmare, think about nightmare. What do you think nightmare means? Well, when I think about nightmares, I think about when my children were small and they might wake up in the middle of the night and they start screaming or crying because they're having a bad dream. So nightmares are scary. And if it's a credit card nightmare, that means it's a big problem caused by credit cards or something very scary. So it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing. Credit cards can be good if you use them in cases of emergency, or if you pay the monthly balance at the end of each month, then the debt does not continue to grow and you don't have to pay interest. But if you don't pay the entire balance and you just pay the minimum payment each month, then the debt can grow and sometimes it can become overwhelming. And some people can't afford to pay the minimum balance or the minimum payment each month. All right. The next question I have for you is, what does it mean to skim an article for information? Well, to skim an article for information means to read the article quickly for specific information that you're looking for. So many times when we begin reading an article, we'll start with a few questions before we begin to read the article, and the question might say, what problem did the people have? You don't have to read every word of the article to find the problem. You might just skim or read it very quickly, and you can find, maybe if you look at the beginning of the second paragraph, it says the couple's problems begin after they bought a new house. So that tells you when the problem began. So sometimes skimming or reading quickly to find the information is a way to get it quickly and easily. So now what I'd like to do is read the article, and you can read along with me. Sun Hee and Joseph Kim got their first credit card a week after they got married. At first, they paid off the balance every month. The couple's problems began after they bought a new house. They bought new furniture, a big screen television, and 2 new computers. To pay for everything, they applied for more and more credit. Soon, they had 6 different credit cards, and they were more than $18,000 in debt. It was a nightmare, says Mrs. Kim. The interest rates were 19% to 24%. Our minimum payments were over $750 a month. We both got second jobs, but it wasn't enough. I was so worried about paying off the debt, I cried all the time. Luckily, the Kims found a solution. They met Dolores Delgado, a debt counselor. With her help, they looked at all of their living expenses and made a family budget. They combined their 6 credit card payments into 1 monthly payment with a lower interest rate. Now, their monthly budget for all living expenses is $3,400. Together, they earn $3,900 a month. That leaves $500 for paying off their debt. We've cut up our credit cards, says Mrs. Kim. No more expensive furniture. In 5 years, we can pay off our debt. Now we know credit cards are dangerous. So Mr. and Mrs. Kim found out that credit cards are dangerous the hard way. They got themselves into too much debt, and then they had to get a credit counselor to help them find a way to consolidate their debt and begin to pay it off so that they didn't have to live with that nightmare any longer. So, it says, what problem did the people have? Well, it says right here, the problem was that they bought new furniture, a big screen television, and 2 new computers, but to pay for it, they applied for more and more credit. So they put all of these purchases on credit cards, and it says soon they had 6 different credit cards, and they were more than $18,000 in debt. So they ended up getting themselves into $18,000 of debt, and they were worried sick about how to pay off the debt. And it says that Mrs. Kim cried all the time because she was so worried about it. Next, it says, how did they solve it? Well, if you look at the next paragraph, it says, luckily, it means fortunately, or good luck. It was good luck for the Kims. They were able to find a solution. They met Dolores Delgado, a debt counselor. So they met a debt counselor, and with her help, it says they looked at all their living expenses and made a family budget. So they made a family budget. They combined their 6 credit card payments into one payment with a lower interest rate. And they were able to pay the monthly payment because they were able to create the family budget, and then that left them $500 to pay for the debt that they had accrued or that they had built up. Now, if you'll notice right here in the bottom right corner, it says, one way to organize information is to give problems and solutions. So that's exactly what this article does. It first identifies the problems that the Kims had, and it also identifies the solution, which was getting Mrs. Delgado to help them with creating a family budget and finding a way to pay off the debt. Now let's turn to the next page and let's look at part 3 after you read. It says, check your understanding. Question number 1 says, what word in the article means terrible experience? Terrible experience. Well, that's right in the title. In the title it says a credit nightmare. So nightmare is the word that we're looking for. That's a terrible experience. Question number 2. What is the main idea of the article? I believe that the main idea of the article is that credit cards are dangerous, and it's possible that if you don't handle your credit cards in a wise manner, it's very possible to get into too much debt, and you might be in a situation where you get over your head and you're not able to pay the monthly payments. So I think it's a warning to help people understand that you need to be careful with credit cards. Number 3 says, when did Mr. and Mrs. Kim get their first credit card? Well, it says in the very beginning of the article, Sunhee and Joseph Kim got their first credit card a week after they got married. So that tells you exactly the answer to the question. It was a week after they got married. Question number 4. When did their problems begin? Again, remember we answered the question earlier about the problems that they were experiencing. It says the couple's problems began after they bought their new house. And then they started furnishing their new house with the new furniture, the big screen television. They bought 2 new computers, but to pay for everything, they used credit cards. So that's when their problems began, when they started using credit cards to pay for all of their furnishings for their house. Next, it says, how did they pay for everything? Again, this same paragraph says that they paid for everything with credit cards, and they were using more than 6 different credit cards, and they had more than $18,000 in debt after they paid for all of the furnishings for the house. So they paid for everything with credit cards. Number 6, according to the article, what things did the Kims do to reduce their debt? Well, the article says that they met with a debt counselor named Dolores Delgado, and they created a family budget and got a consolidation loan to combine all of the 6 credit card payments into one payment with a lower monthly interest. So they created a family budget and they got a loan to consolidate all of the credit card debt. Next, it says, do you think the Kims will have financial problems in the future? What evidence supports your answer? Well, I believe that the article makes it pretty clear that they've learned their lesson about credit cards, because it says we've cut up the credit cards and no more expensive furniture. So it looks to me, since they cut up the credit cards, they've learned that credit cards are dangerous and they're not going to use them any longer. So that will conclude this part of the lesson. I'll see you in the next video.